Usually every spring, the dollar store and even craft stores have these little wood die cut ornament pieces that you can make all sorts of crafts with. So for this one, we're gonna make some specimen art. First, I grabbed just a piece of scrap wood. It's like 5x7 piece of scrap wood. It's from the Dollar Tree, but use whatever scrap wood you got. Paint it with plain white Rust-Oleum chalk paint. And then grab some of these carrot ornaments. You're gonna need 12 of them. I initially thought I'd paint some solid dark orange, but I realized quickly that was way too dark. So then I started playing around and mixing white paint with my dark orange to get the color that I liked. And then with each row that went up, I just added a little bit more white paint so that it was lightest, medium, dark. Kind of like Goldilocks, I guess. But my paint colors here are Folk Art Matte Paint in olive green, also Canyon Sunset for the dark orange, and Wicker White for the white. But really any dark green, dark orange, and white would work for this, even just cheap acrylic craft paint. And then once I had the carrots painted to my liking, I went in with the green with more of a fine point paintbrush, because I wanted to get that detail where the carrot top meets the carrot itself. And then I just did the same thing. I did darker green mixed with a little bit of white for the bottom row, mixed with even a little bit more white for the middle row, and then the lightest on the top. And I also didn't try very hard to completely blend the green and the white paint, because that gave my little carrot tops a little bit more texture and dimension, which I thought looked nicer. Then it was time to make a frame for my little wooden painted piece of scrap wood here. So just nautical jute rope from Dollar Tree. Make sure you cut off the plastic part at the end, twist the end before you hot glue it so it doesn't fray, and then add a line of hot glue, working in sections all the way around your piece of scrap wood. And then when you get back to where you started, cut that end, but kind of hold it and twist it so that it doesn't fray, and then hot glue that end piece in place as well. Then your carrots, I just dry fit them in place, kind of set them in place the way you think you like them, evenly spaced. Then grab some wood glue, just regular old wood glue, and a paintbrush, and you're gonna just add a dab of wood glue to the back of each carrot to set them in place. And then you can kind of, because the wood glue doesn't dry instantly, you can kind of tweak and adjust the carrots as needed so that they're perfectly evenly spaced the way you like them. And then that's it. So once the wood glue is dried, after a couple hours, you can display your new specimen art. And here are my little carrots in an ombre pattern. Next up, you want to grab a little wood box. This is from Dollar Tree. Just any sort of unfinished wood box, or even a picture frame would work. I've done this with Easter eggs and picture frames before. Just paint everything white. Once again, that plain white Rust-Oleum chalk paint, or whatever white paint you got on hand. Then you're going to grab some of these little bunny cutout ornaments, and we're going to paint them in 3 different colors. So for this, my paint colors are Folk Art Home Decor Chalk Paint in the color Sage. And then the other 2 are Folk Art Matte Paints in the color Gentle Violet and Mossy Meadow. I kind of go back and forth between the chalk paints because that's what they have at my Hobby Lobby, and then the matte paints because that's what they have at the Michaels, which is closer to my house. But either way, just give a first coat of paint and then rinse your brush and then do the next color and then rinse your brush and then do the next color and then go back and do a second coat. Just because I don't know what was going on with these bunnies, but it seemed like the unfinished wood really soaked in a lot of the paint. So on these, I had to do a second coat, no big deal. And then you'll also see on the left-hand side of the screen here, when I tested my colors because I wasn't sure what color combination I wanted to do, I used some Dollar Tree tumbling tower Jenga pieces to test like 8 different colors of chalk paint. And then I finally settled on these 3. And then once the paint had dried, set the bunnies right inside that wooden box. Space them evenly however you like. And then once again, grab your wood glue and a paintbrush, add a generous dab of glue on the back of each bunny and set them in place. And then before you set it aside to dry, make sure that everything is spaced evenly the way you like it. And once that glue had dried, I just added a 1-inch natural fiber ribbon. I ordered this in a set of 3, so 3 different widths of this same ribbon from Amazon, and I think it's really beautiful. So I will link to it below, and then I just tied it with a knot at the top and secured that knot with a dab of hot glue. And then I also made a bow. So you make 1 loop and then 2 loops, and then you tie them in a knot. I call it my bunny ears bow. And then you kind of pull the 2 tail ends down. Cut those 2 tail ends at a 45-degree angle. And then I just ended up adding a tiny dab of hot glue to the front edge of that wooden box, just so that my tail ends would hang down nicely. But then here's my little Easter Bunny specimen art kind of shadow box craft. And then here are my 2 finished crafts together. I do hope you enjoyed watching me make these 2 dollar store Easter crafts. Until next time, happy making.